Peter McVerry lives in a small flat with two fellow Jesuits in Ballymun in North Dublin. Peter's own background is radically different from this. He grew up in Newry, County Down, the son of the local doctor. Himself and his brothers were sent to the prestigious boarding school run by the Jesuits in Clongowes Wood, County Kildare.
Yeah, I loved it here. I enjoyed studying and I enjoyed playing all the games that were available here, particularly rugby, cricket and soccer. I fitted in very well here.
Peter's lack of concern for domesticity was balanced by an extraordinary academic ability. Something happened to Peter here in the Jesuit-run Belvedere College in Dublin that dramatically changed the course of his life. It was the early 70s, and Peter was teaching science to upper-middle-class boys like himself.
Lads were terrific. Yeah, it was a school where you didn't have major discipline problems.
And what began to change that for you?
Well, what changed me was discovering Hardwick Street. Hardwick Street was just at the back of the school, and there was a youth club there. So I went up and I stayed there the evening, and I really enjoyed working there, and I enjoyed the kids who were there. They were very different to the young people here. It was a total difference. My core value is the dignity of every single human being. From a religious point of view, I would say, every human being is a child of God and has the dignity of being a child of God, and nobody and nothing can take that away from them. So the dignity of every human being for me is the primary core value. And for a society, we have to affirm that dignity. So that's how I got involved in homelessness. For people to be on the street is a huge denial of their dignity. It's hugely offensive to their dignity, and therefore, I suppose I have been. That would drive me to commit myself to working with homeless people. That's my contribution to trying to build a society that affirms that dignity in practice as well as in words. The people I would admire would be in the voluntary sector, primarily the community and voluntary sector, people who have been working tirelessly for their communities. I mean, a man I greatly admired was Tony Gregory, and I knew Tony Gregory before he ever became a TD, and Tony was absolutely and totally committed to the inner city community, and even after he became a TD, that commitment remained. He wasn't in politics for himself. It wasn't for his own self-advancement. He remained totally and absolutely committed to the people. Well, for me, that's what leadership is about.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's about commitment.
When you mentioned Tony Gregory there, and you say like commitment was one of his characteristics, and that one of the things that you really admired in him. Is there anything else in terms of his character or characteristics that you feel he had as a good leader?
He knew how to surround himself with a very, very good team, and a team who shared the same values as he did. We were going to work with homeless people. The vision was that there were other groups working with homeless people as well. I didn't just want to be another organisation working with homeless people, so part of our vision and part of our ethos now in the organisation is that we want to work with the most marginalised of homeless people. So we would never turn anybody away.
And another question, I suppose, which is coming up now for lots of organisations, and I know maybe you're not part of that, in some ways you're freed up, like you're saying, but say for instance, you as a person and as an organisation would challenge the way, say, the homeless process and how it is all organised at the moment, or has been in the past, or is going to be in the future. Do you find that tricky to challenge that process, especially in relation to then funding? And
no,
you don't.
I have no problem. I mean, I'm angry. I get angry all the time. The way homeless people are treated, the way the problem of homelessness is not being satisfactorily addressed just makes me angry, and I let that anger out through talking on in the media, writing articles, and so forth. Do I find that it's much easier now that we have a CEO and an admin team, because if when we're looking for funding or negotiating funding, I have nothing to do with it. But I think the last time I got depressed was when I was doing theology 30-something years ago. I am very happy. I love what I'm doing. The job satisfaction is second to none. We have 5 young people working for us now who were once formerly homeless drug users. Now that really thrills me. They have made a huge change in their lives, and they are happy because of that change, and that gives me great happiness.